Friday Night SmackDown inside the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, inside the WWE ThunderDome. Now, I like to do like 2 or 3 match previews for every SmackDown, every Raw, and sometimes for NXT and AEW. So I was going to do about 3 tonight. I was going to do the Universal Championship match, which is going up on the channel. I was going to do Lars Sullivan versus Jeff Hardy. And I was also going to do a preview about Daniel Bryan. Obviously, Daniel Bryan returns tonight. It's the season premiere of SmackDown is what they're hyping it up as. So it's a big show. They're loading the card up. They're loading the show up. And it features the return of Daniel Bryan to actually physically appear on WWE TV as opposed to just in a Skype bubble in the corner of the screen, but actually physically appear inside of a WWE ring for the first time since June. Of course, he's been off since he lost the Intercontinental Championship Finals to AJ Styles. He was welcoming the birth of his second child, so he was at home with Brie Bella, helping the family, looking after the baby, looking after their daughter, doing all of that stuff. So Daniel Bryan hasn't obviously appeared. He's been on paternity leave, and obviously you don't want to be in the midst of all these people during a pandemic when you've got a small child at home. So Daniel Bryan has been away, but he's back. He's back tonight on SmackDown. So I was going to, my whole point being, I was going to do a preview about that, talk about Daniel Bryan, talk about opponents and all this sort of stuff. And then wouldn't you know it, this is just the world of professional wrestling, unfortunately, specifically WWE, is that we saw a post, an interesting post, on social media by none other than WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg and former WWE Universal Champion, two-time WWE Universal Champion Goldberg, posted on Instagram that he will actually be participating in tonight's episode of SmackDown on Fox. Now, he said, and I will read this out here because I've got the Instagram post, because this is what it was. He posted this on Instagram. He said, quote, "To say I have an interest in tonight's Universal Championship match on WWE on Fox SmackDown is an understatement. At Adam Shear 99, which is Braun Strowman, at Roman Reigns. I'll be joining the WWE ThunderDome tonight for the season premiere. Hashtag Spear, hashtag Jackhammer, hashtag Who's Next, at WWE, hashtag Wrestling, hashtag WCW, at Goldberg's Garage." He loves a hashtag. He loves a hashtag, and he loves tagging people in there. So Goldberg, yes, Goldberg is going to be part of the WWE ThunderDome tonight. Now, there's lots of different ways you can look at this. Obviously, one way you can look at it is absolute panic and fear, which is, I think, a lot of people have looked at it at. What I will say is Goldberg isn't alone in joining in the ThunderDome tonight. From what I've seen, there's quite a few WWE Legends, Hall of Famers that are going to be involved in the ThunderDome tonight. I think I saw like Jeff Jarrett tweet out that he's going to be involved in the ThunderDome. There are probably going to be some other people involved in there. So Goldberg's not alone in that sense. So it's not the case of, oh, they're shooting an angle. They absolutely could be shooting an angle. And we might see that. We saw last year, right? The debut of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. There wasn't a virtual crowd. There was an actual crowd there. Back when you could actually be a fan in attendance before the world went crazy. But obviously Tyson Fury was an example. He was in the audience and they shot an angle. So can they do the same thing virtually? I mean, I guess anything's possible, especially in the modern day 2020, anything's possible. So Goldberg is going to be part of the ThunderDome. And the reason why it's curious is because basically Goldberg, he doesn't tweet, he doesn't post things on Instagram about WWE really, unless it's involved in a match, a program, something's building up, something starting. So again, it's got a lot of people's spidey senses tingling, if you want to go with that, because we know of Goldberg's contract. I believe he has, I think it's a year left on his contract, and the last contract he signed with WWE permitted to 2 matches a year, 2 or 3 matches a year, or something like that. So this would mean, if you look at it, 3 matches a year. If they're saying it's 3 matches a year, you had Super Showdown against The Fiend. I know we want to forget it, but it happened. Unfortunately, it happened. WrestleMania, which was meant to be against Roman Reigns, but instead, obviously, pandemic, Roman Reigns pulled out. Instead, it was Braun Strowman. So 2, Braun Strowman. There's 1 left for this year, unfortunately. There's 1 left for this year. And I think a lot of people thought, myself included, that, okay, it's the pandemic. You know, we're not having Brock Lesnar at the moment. All of these big, expensive old stars that WWE likes to pull out because they think they draw a rating, when the evidence is there they don't. They really don't. But we thought, okay, well, because of financial hardships, the company's losing money. They can't afford really, to have Goldberg out. The representative of value for money isn't there at the moment, especially during the pandemic. I think a lot of people thought, you know what, it's not going to happen, okay? Goldberg will just sit out the rest of his contract. Maybe next year. Maybe next year we'll see Goldberg back in the ring again. I hope not, but maybe we'll see that again next year. And that was just that's a 2021 problem. But if Goldberg's in the Thunderdome tonight, you know the temptation's there. The temptation is there, and it's very curious about the people involved. I think a lot of people at the time, when we heard that it was Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman tonight, obviously the logic was that Braun Strowman was the Fiend was the former Universal Champion, that Roman Reigns technically won it off, and Braun Strowman got his rematch at Payback against the Fiend technically, but I guess they could say he never got his one-on-one rematch if they want to do the logic that way. So they could say that Braun Strowman's getting his one-on-one rematch against his old rival, Roman Reigns, even though Braun Strowman's a Raw superstar now. Logic, okay, just gone out the window right over my head. So I guess that's what they're saying, but the curious thing is that these are the two guys that were involved with Goldberg when it comes to WrestleMania this year. Obviously, originally the plan was for it to be Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Universal Championship. That was obviously Raymond James Stadium. Even when it was at the Performance Center, that was the plan, and then Roman Reigns pulled out. That was the plan. And instead, who replaced Roman Reigns? Braun Strowman. So you've got the three guys here that were all involved in the Universal Championship picture when it comes to WrestleMania. Now, it looks to me, I don't know. I don't know. I've heard nothing. This might have been kept quiet. It's come out of the blue. But it's, again, the parts are there. The parts are there, unfortunately. And maybe WWE is looking at it now going, look, we didn't get the match of Roman Reigns versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's what we wanted to get. And the plan was this heel Roman Reigns, this was coming. This was always coming. Regardless of pandemic or not, this heel Roman Reigns was coming. They wanted Roman Reigns to turn heel at WrestleMania, essentially. He was going to beat Goldberg, and then he was going to become this darker, more serious, more realistic, and better, more edgier character after WrestleMania. That was always the plan. And obviously, plans changed. Obviously, we know what happened. So maybe WWE is looking at it going, we can still do this match. We wanted to do the match. We can still do the match of Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. The issue is, who on earth wants to see it? Nobody. Nobody. During this pandemic, and when we heard the news about Goldberg's contract, about he has 1 year left and he has 2 or 3 matches a year left on the deal, nobody went, well, I'm glad. I want to see more Goldberg matches. Nobody does. And it's not a slight. It's not a slight to Goldberg. It's just a sense that this is an older guy. He can't, even in his best days, his ability in the ring was questionable. He'd say that himself. He goes on, the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin. He calls himself green. It's greener than my green screen behind me that you can't see. The match isn't there. And I can almost see the temptation in Vince McMahon's head at this point of going, well, television ratings are down, and maybe we bring back Goldberg and Roman Reigns and we do something, we tease something for maybe the Royal Rumble in January, when we are going to be putting fans in stadiums again, or in arenas again, because that is happening. That is happening when it comes to next year. It's not happening for the next few months, but I guarantee you by the time WrestleMania comes around next year, there will be fans in attendance at that WrestleMania, regardless of how bad this pandemic is. I think Vince McMahon's got his heart set on it and his head set on it. So maybe he's thinking tonight's the season premiere of SmackDown on Fox. We get Goldberg virtually in attendance. We get Roman Reigns confront him. A little bit of a confrontation. This sets up a match when it comes to, again, like I said, the Royal Rumble, maybe even Survivor Series next month. I mean, Goldberg did make his return to WWE in a match against Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Maybe they want to do that. That was, what, 4 years ago? I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago. This week feels like a lifetime ago, but I don't know. Again, I'm with everyone else. I don't want to see it. I don't need to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see Roman Reigns Goldberg. No one's calling out for Roman Reigns Goldberg. Now, would it be awesome to have Reigns destroy Goldberg in like 5 seconds? Of course it would be good, and it would be great for Roman Reigns, because it's another tick on his list, and of all these people he's beat, The Undertaker, Triple H, you name it. And maybe they are working up to The Rock at WrestleMania for Roman Reigns, and maybe him beating Goldberg helps elevate him to another level of being a complete badass and the tribal chief and all of this stuff. I just don't want to see it, and I don't need to see it. And I think a lot of people would agree with me there that it's not needed. It's just not needed. Nobody's crying out for it. And if anything, I think it's a waste of money from WWE's point of view. Because you look at the match at WrestleMania, in terms of the credibility that Goldberg has left, I mean, he lost to The Undertaker at Super Showdown in 2019 in that horrific match. He beat Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam the following a couple months later. And then what's he done since then? He's just lost matches. He's lost to The Undertaker, lost to Braun Strowman. I know he beat The Fiend, which the less said about that the better, because that's a disgrace even now. It's just the wrong decision. And I think we'll be hearing a lot about that over the next few years, about the story behind that, because we've heard some stories about that one. But no one wants to see it. No one wants to see it. No one needs to see it. So I'm really hoping that it's just Goldberg in the crowd and they're just trying to add some flair to the show, some firepower, trying to get people talking. We're talking about it now, so if that's their aim for this, just to get people talking, they've done it. They've done it. They've achieved their aim. You won, WWE. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Okay? Please. Please don't go for the match, because no one needs it. No one needs it and no one wants it. So I don't know, but my spider senses are tingling. I suppose it's probably worth mentioning that Goldberg was actually at the debut of SmackDown on Fox last year as well. He was at the Staples Center and he wasn't involved then. So perhaps that's, again, it's something to consider, but we don't need it. We don't need it. So please, let's just not go there. Let's not go there, please. But of course, as always, this is one man's opinion. So what are your thoughts on Goldberg being involved tonight inside the WWE ThunderDome? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll be sure to respond to all of your comments. If you have enjoyed this video, please smash a like on the like button as well. Most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestling News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.